Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Email Never Sleeps. I'm Andrew Kordek, Vice President of Customer Engagement and Marketing here at iPost. And I am joined by a wonderful colleague of mine who I've known in the industry for many years, Pilar Bower of Validity. She's a senior customer success manager over there. Love Validity. Have dealt with them all the way back to the return path days. So Pilar, why don't you introduce yourself?
So yes, I am at Validity and started when it was Return Path, but have been in the industry probably about 15 years. I've been on the agency side, the customer side, customer of Return Path,
Yeah.
customer of many ESPs. So definitely have evolved, but like landing in the deliverability department.
Yeah. And for everybody that doesn't know Validity, give us a 30-second overview. What do you guys do?
Sure. We have software that monitors inbox placement versus spam placement, or if you might be having blocks. And my job is to work with our enterprise clients to show them how to read the data, if there are deliverability issues, how to solve them. And definitely in this day and age, paying attention to your deliverability is more important than ever, which we're going to talk about based on email
Yeah.
volume.
Well, and it's great. And just for everybody out there, I'm a longtime reader of Validity, getting all the way back to Return Path. They put out some amazing content, really do a lot of work, especially around global studies. And that's what we're going to hear to talk today. So you it gave me some advanced notions, advanced warning on a global email trends report. You guys have an open call every so often on it. And it was really about volume and email trends for this year. And I wanted to kind of go over this and just some of the two insights I drew out of what you sent me, and I'd love your comments on it. One of the things that was talked about, and I know this is off of Validity clients only, right? So just for everyone's edification, right? That's what we're talking about. This year, though, there's a 30% lift in volume year over year compare, which is, first of all, nuts in itself, right? But in that same vein, inbox placement is going up and spam placement is going down, which you would think, oh my gosh, with all this volume happening, right, that there's going to be more spam placement. And so that tells me one of many things, right? First of all, it tells me, are the customers segmenting better? Which probably is the case. Are they list hygiening, cleaning their list, making sure that they're taking proper care of their lists so that their inbox placement rate is going up? What are you seeing, Pilar? Is that something that, am I right? Am I wrong? Are my insights off? Like, it just seems crazy to me that the volume is up so high and yet everything is trending in the right direction, right?
Sure. And I think, obviously everything in the world was changed by the pandemic, but email definitely became a very important channel. And especially with, for a long period of time, people not even really being able to shop in brick and mortar or, get their information. So yes, volume definitely has gone up, but the inboxing piece is interesting. But also, and we do have a lot of senders and a lot of high volume as Validity customers, but it's also important to note that our customers are paying attention to deliverability and making tweaks to improve engagement and improve inboxing. So I think that with our data, that definitely is the case, that inboxing is going up and spam is going down, but not sure about those senders who maybe aren't monitoring their deliverability as much or not following best practices. And there definitely is still a lot of spammers out there.
Oh, absolutely. Right. I mean, and set those aside. What are some of your customers doing, right? That you said that they're executing best practices, but what are some of the top things that they're doing to make sure that their inbox placement rate continues to increase as they send more email? What are you
Sure. Definitely, definitely segmentation and paying attention to engagement and, We have email validation, which a lot of our clients use, which is important for some use cases.
Mhm.
But, and especially with the Apple mail privacy protection,
Yeah.
we were prepared for, well, as prepared as any of us were in email
Right.
land. I know it was a
Right.
big firestorm for a while. Um,
Yeah.
but we really were trying to coach customers on what to do with that, or like segmenting out openers right in the beginning, since you really
Mhm.
can't segment on opens that great anymore.
Mhm.
So just paying attention to that segmentation, you know, really encouraging senders to only send to their engaged clients.
Mhm.
And, you know, with the volume situation too, you know, you do see a lot of people actually sign up for emails around the holidays to get deals. And then, yes, they may unsubscribe, you know, January, February, March. So you do see, you know, volume go
Mhm.
down in that sense. But
Mhm.
just, you know, really encouraging our customers to pay attention to the data, pay
Right.
attention to who wants their mail and who doesn't.
Mhm.
And so I think that those are really the, you know, the things to pay attention to, and segmentation. It was funny because I was thinking about the holidays coming up and how it's going to start soon. And I
Yeah.
already got a Halloween email from Party City last week. I actually don't even know if Party City is one of our clients. This is just a personal
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
But I already got an email about Halloween and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just too early. And then
Yeah.
right before this call, I was curious about it because it was on my mind. So I
Yeah.
went into my inbox and I realized I had not gotten an email from Party City since last October. So
Oh man.
I know that I've purchased Halloween stuff specifically. So I was like,
Right.
wow, Party City is probably sending to maybe a segment of subscribers that has only purchased Halloween in the past. So I was like,
Mhm.
that's a really good job of segmentation, because I think other people might be annoyed that they're already getting a Halloween email in the middle of July,
Right.
but I
Right.
wasn't. So
But
that's
it just,
just the case.
I think it just goes to show, we've talked about, and you've been in the business long enough, right, to know that we've talked about segmentation ad nauseum, about how to segment. Sometimes it blows people's minds, like, how do I do it the right way? And your example right now of Party City just doing it, or perhaps having the theory that they're doing it on a very narrow basis, just goes to show that, you know what, it's not that difficult to do that, rather than potentially face the gauntlet of deliverability issues, right? That can
Mhm.
go along with just blasting everybody, and taking that. I'm curious, did you, this email trends reports, kind of got my mind thinking, but was there anything that you kind of drew out of this after you read it?
It's just so interesting to like look at the volume, you know, over the past 2 years, because we have been tracking it, you know, over the pandemic. And it's just like, I think just for me, it's the knowing the parts of the year, how stuff is going so fast. And it's just is like incredible that the volume has stayed like, the volume right now is probably consistent to like almost like 2 holidays ago, where it's like holiday
Mm-hmm.
definitely spikes hugely, but
Right.
it's just like shocking that the volume overall has like maintained.
Right.
um and it's just so much, and it will be interesting to see what this holiday brings, especially to going back to the mail privacy protection. You know, people are going to have to like segment differently. Like some people open up their lists during the holidays, or like in the past may
Mm-hmm.
have sent like to people who opened last year, where a lot
Yeah.
of those ways that you have to think and ways that you do have to segment is going to be interesting for this holiday season.
And I think for everybody listening, if you guys decide to open up your lists from stuff from last year, do due diligence. Get get it clean, get it validated, do something rather than just saying, well, let's just open the door of everybody from last year and see what happens. That you're kind of setting yourself up for potential failure. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but you might want to make sure, with the implications that MPP has had across the industry, to do that. One other insight that I drew out of this trends report was that of people's attention span. We know that everyone's attention span has gone down after many years, and I think the report talked about it's gone down over the last 22 years from what is 12 seconds to 8 seconds, right? Which is like less than that of a goldfish, right? And one of the insights was, making improvements to your templates, making messages easier, making it to be quicker for people to read. And the way I look at it is simplicity works, believe it or not. And everyone can use the examples of Amazon or Apple or whatever, but I'm seeing a lot of trends that in my inbox, at least, where there's not as many calls to action. There's very simplistic, creative, because people have ability to process is getting shorter and shorter because we're inundated. What are your thoughts? Do you agree, disagree with that statement, or what do you think?
I definitely agree. I mean, I think, inbox clutter is a big factor of that. And then, maybe not directly related to attention span, but, and I may be like a little bit atypical since I'm in the business, but, some people now, like, I think it's also important to try to pay attention to like channel preferences, because, I could be signed up for something and I could get an email, a text, a push notification, an ad then 2 minutes later on Instagram from the same brand within like 10 minutes. And you're like, so that's another, I think, not directly related to attention span, but like, you're not going to open all 4 of those, or you're going to start to get annoyed.
Right.
So that's, I just think we're so inundated with so much now that it's like, your attention span. If I got a text 5 minutes ago, I'm not going to open the email when I see it in my inbox.
Right.
So you're just like, you got to kind of pay attention to how people's habits have changed over the years.
Right. And we as marketers, right, we want that immediacy, right? And so recently I've been shopping for furniture and the same thing happened, right? I get knocked around in all these different channels. And I think and it's like, you're right. It's like immediate, not 5-minute immediate, like seconds immediate, like in my Instagram feed and all of my different feeds, and I'm inundated with it. We need to take special attention and say, take a step back for a moment. I know that person might be in market for whatever, but maybe have some timing around it, or testing that timing, because of the attention span. But getting back to the email, never be afraid to test simplicity, right? We talk about email and simplicity and testing for years and years and years. And oftentimes we are pressured as marketers, because you've been on the agency side, I've been on the client side. We all have done it, right? We're pressured by people saying we need more in there because we need to get more out of this email. And yet I don't think, I sometimes think that we would overwhelm. Any other insights on this benchmark study, on this global study? I mean, it's fascinating stuff, right?
Well, and as we were just talking about that too, I was thinking about the stat in there, how volume is going way high, but click rates are dropping. Yes. So I think that has to do with attention span and inbox clutter. But then also the bullet point about how, since volume is going so high, the total amount of clicks may still be driving the same amount of traffic to your website. Right. Like, you may not be seeing like too much of a dip, but so you still got to pay attention to like your email data to like shift your email strategy specifically versus like other channels.
Right. And I also look at, and I don't know about you, but like I nerd out when I get some new emails and I'm kind of looking at it, and I'm always looking to say, do I know what I need to do as a regular subscriber? Not as an email marketer, 22 years. Do they give me clear direction of what you want me to do? Is everything that should be clickable, right? And so that gets back to that, the click rate going down, right? Like, we need to pay attention to everything that's clickable. We sometimes get in our mind, well, we know where to click on the email, but our 3 million or 32 million or 3,000 subscribers may not know that, right? And given that attention, we need to make every opportunity for them to engage with us long term. All right, so key takeaways, and how can they get a hold of this or learn more about these email trends? So what are your key takeaways, Pilar?
If you're not already holiday planning, start that today. And just, because get ready for that and just pay attention to those, segmenting, use the data that you have. And if you don't have good data, figure out a plan for that as well.
Right. I'll also add on to this is that sometimes we talk about holiday as retail in general. This is everybody in the industry that sends email, right? From whether you're a political sender, well, coming up with midterms, or whether you're a retailer or a publisher or somebody, you have to ramp up for holiday because there's just so much that's happening and the inboxes are slammed. You need to prepare yourself. And I would say is, a lot of people feel like they need to line up every single line of their data in order to use it. They need to have the perfection. And I would say is, even if you don't feel like you have to, take the data that you do have, right? Even if it's small stuff, and make sure that it's good and that it's usable, and it's okay to not feel like you've got everything, all of your ducks in a row to test it. Forewarn your best subscribers, right? That volume will be increasing. Give them opportunity to engage with you as the brand, not just for what you want them to do. And I think that is the key to success, because if your report is right, and I kind of believe that I think it's going to be, we're going to see another record year of email volume. And it's really, really frightening sometimes when someone says to me, well, email is just email, just get it out the door, right? Like, email that can only produce so much. So that's my key takeaway for everybody. So Pilar, thank you so much. This is the first time you and I've actually had a webcast or been on stage or talked to each other, right, in the years that we've been connected. And so I wanted to thank you so much. Your insight's valuable. I love what you guys are doing over at Validity. So I really want to thank you for
thank you. And thank you for thinking of me and having me on.
Oh, great. Thank you again. And everybody, stay tuned for the next episode of Email Never Sleeps. Thank you again to everybody that is attending when you watch this now or in the future. Appreciate it.